NQ is a notorious ghost hunter on YouTube, but in recent times, a lot of his content has been ridiculed for being fake and obviously set up by his team. Most viewers hopped on the trend and called him a liar without even checking for themselves. But one subscriber had a different idea. He decided to visit the location that the staged allegations sparked from. When NQ was here, all sorts of things moved without any human interaction, but many viewers spot strings attached to them. This video sought out to prove NQ right. Have a watch. First of all, a mysterious noise was heard, and this forced the man investigating to up his guard. He looked around the CityLink basement for any signs of something that could potentially move, and was drawn to the box, and to his surprise, it started to move, proving NQ's video of the place to be a valid one. The subscriber got out of there as quickly as he possibly could, and then uploaded the clip to YouTube, in hopes that it'd get traction. He managed to show 6,000 views that NQ was not a faker. Kelsey and Jamie were sleeping on a regular Saturday night when they were awoken by something very unexpected. Some odd sounds were occurring downstairs, and it almost sounded as if somebody else was in the house, so one of them needed to go and investigate. Jamie was fast asleep and really sick, so Kelsey did not want to force him down the stairs. She bravely volunteered to investigate and brought her mobile device with her. This is what she was able to record on camera.
Okay guys, it's after 2 in the morning and I just got up. Jamie's still... What in the hell? Jamie's still asleep. Oh my god, oh my god. These cupboards, I'm so afraid of them opening. I'm just gonna shut the water off here. Oh my god. I just shut that off and that is rolling. Look at this thing. It's rocking back and forth. Oh my god. Leave me alone. Jamie?
It was more than clear that nobody had invaded the house, and the only thing that had really made its way in was a poltergeist. This house had never experienced paranormal activity before, and furthermore, Kelsey and Jamie had never witnessed anything like it. This was a first-time experience, and that explains why she was so shook by what she came across. She told Jamie, and they both decided to do nothing about it due to their complete lack of knowledge. They hid under the coverts for the rest of the night and struggled to sleep for a brief period in the future. The following video was captured by the same YouTube channel that the first clip of this video involved, NQ. NQ was notorious for posting haunting findings to his YouTube channel, and they were always in the most obscure places that you would not be able to predict would have been a place brewing spirits. However, this video differed from the rest. Somehow, one of the poltergeists he encountered in another location must have traced him back to his home and decided to permanently haunt NQ. This is what it did, but before I show you, did you know that you can have your ghostly findings broadcasted on my channel too? That's right. All you have to do is email hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and attach your clips alongside a description of what happened and why it happened. If you do those 3 steps correctly, your clip will be in an upcoming video for certain. Anyways, here is the clip that NQ captured within his own home.
TV going here? See, there's no strings or anything. Nothing back there. Nothing from the top all the way down the sides.
Strangely, the television started to shake aggressively, and learning from his past mistakes that led to him being called a liar, NQ got as close as he could and made sure to show everybody that there were no strings attached. Now, NQ was an expert when it came to things like this, so unlike others who would contact a ghost hunter in this situation, he just banished the spirit on his own and succeeded. Being home alone can only go one of two ways, and these ways contrast massively. It either becomes one of the most chill times of your life, or one of the most unnerving and terrifying moments occurs, and it was the latter for the man who recorded the series of videos that I am going to expose your poor eyes to shortly. His name was Pete, and one night when he was all by himself, some odd stuff started to happen, which led to him taking out his camera. It was a good thing that he did, because what he captured was extraordinary.
So I'm hearing the shit again, and I'm alone. Jesus Christ. And I'm alone too. Jesus fucking. Oh my God. Oh my God. There was something behind that. There was something behind that. Nope. Nope. Nope.
No matter where Pete went in this household, the spirit followed, and he captured everything that a victim possibly could. What this series of events was called is a paranormal surge, and it refers to when 5 or more ghostly events happen within a 5-minute time span of each other. People are heavily advised to leave their house if one of these things happens to them, and Pete was clearly on the smarter side for doing this. For the following few days, he refused to go back to his home and took residence in his mother's house, promising to purchase his own food and things that he planned on using whilst he was there. However, he was only given a 2-day stay and was forced back to his place that he believed to be ridiculed with evil spirits. Throughout the next week or so, he could have sworn he continuously saw a shadow figure gliding between doors and exploring the property, but without any proof, he was too frightened to raise this concern to social media. One day, though, he hit the jackpot.
Oh, please tell me I got that on video. Please tell me I got that on video. That's why I put my phone up there. Nobody's in here. That scared me. Nobody's in here. Nobody's behind the door. Nobody's underneath the bed. Nobody's under the bed. Nobody's in the closet. Nobody's going out the room. In the closet. This is where I keep my laundry baskets. Nobody's here. And then the lights are going on and off. This is great. Bathroom, no. Utility closet, nothing. Living room, kitchen, nothing. And the lights are still doing that. And the remote, I don't know. I lost the remote. That's the remote.
Somehow, Pete managed to get the phenomenon on video and made sure to venture the entire building to make sure that the audience knew there was no way this shadow was a real person. I cannot fathom how terrified Pete must have been in this situation. Coming face to face with a spirit, even if it is just a shadow, is not for the weak, and luckily, Pete did not come under the weak category. He debated asking his father to stay at his house for the weekend because he had split up with his mother, meaning there was no way for him to know he stayed at her house a weeky prior, but went against the idea. It was cruel, forcing himself upon his parents' care. He came to the decision to stay in the house and give it one more chance, but of course that chance failed within a day.
There's somebody knocking at the door. I'm here alone. Nope. My girlfriend's not supposed to be here yet. Nope. Go away. She's not supposed to be here yet. I didn't hear her car. Her keys are not here.
This was the weirdest incident of the three because the ghost somehow mimicked the voice of somebody that was actually scheduled to be at the house in due course. It continuously knocked in an attempt to be let into the room, and this is what created the most silly decision that Pete made during these clips. He let it inside. The rest of his night was horrible, and the room became extremely active. This is when he came to the right conclusion that the house needed to be sold, and it is currently on the market at a rather cheap price. Roughly 6 months before the upcoming video was recorded, Lucy had a very haunted house. Her bedroom door would knock uncontrollably, her objects would displace themselves overnight, and she would often hear voices echoing around her kitchen. All of these things combined made it obvious that the place had a ghost occupying it, and she hired a ghost hunter to resolve the issue. Soon enough, one came to the house, and after he left, everything was supposed to be fine, and it was. For the next 6 months, absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happened, and Lucy was finally able to have some peace and comfort inside of her own home. This did not last forever, though. Unfortunately, on the 6-month anniversary of getting rid of the spirit, this happened. Her door knocked aggressively, and this was exactly what the old spirit used to do to her when it got late. She started having flashbacks to all of the previous times she had to go through this, and had no idea what the next steps should be, considering the ghost hunter did not do much in the long term. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for her, and you might as well subscribe too. The Midwest ghost hunter goes on all sorts of crazy adventures, and the one that I am about to show you is one of his most daring yet. He decided to visit an abandoned and haunted asylum that was absolutely ridiculed with spirits, and over my last few videos, I have been showcasing the horrors that he has managed to capture on camera. From flying fruits to unexplained noises, this place has had it all so far, but at the same time hasn't even offered half of what it has in store. The Midwest ghost hunter was walking up the stairs when this clip began to see if it was worse up there, and this is what happened.
Hello? Is there anybody up here? This whole place is unbelievably creepy. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like walking through the actual asylum wing. Is there anyone up here? The hell was that? Whoa! Holy shit! Dude, that was a loud freaking bang. Is there somebody down there? Whoa! Whoa! That door just opened! Oh, I literally just saw that! Oh my god! Dude, I cannot believe that. Already a door freaking opened. Oh god, and now it's shut. When did that happen? Oh god, do I dare freaking look? Look at that. It's slightly moving. There is no one. There is nobody. So then, how the hell did this door open? And look at that. It naturally shuts on its own. So whatever opened this had to have some good amount of force.
The unexplained noises came back again, and for those of you who do not know, this YouTuber does all of his explorations alone, so nobody else should have been in the vicinity. He identified the noise to have come from downstairs, so asked if there was anybody down there, and this is where the real fright happened. The door somehow opened itself and triggered a state of panic for the man who did not expect something so scary to happen so early into the challenge. Regardless of his expectations, it happened though, and there is far more to come for him. Subscribe so you do not miss future videos where this ghost hunter will 100% be featured. Speaking about features you can feature in future Haunter videos by simply emailing me at hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and sending over the clips that you want to have a feature. Include the clips alongside a description of why and what happened so that I know the story and I will include you in an upcoming video for sure. Why would you want to miss out on such a fun opportunity? The following video was captured by a shopkeeper called Damien, who was walking around making sure that everything was in pecking order before opening the store. It was very important to make sure that all the items were displayed well and nothing was misplaced because it helped to maximize sales, which is important for obvious reasons. One day, whilst Damien was on shift doing this regular work, he started to feel weird and heard odd sounds. It was because of this that he started to film and managed to get this on camera.
Bueno gente, soy el sereno acá de este supermercado y ahora estoy por lavar toda esta zona. Esta sería la zona de huevos, lácteos. Y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma. Qué querrá, ¿no? Parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Que quiero trabajar tranquilo. ¿Estamos? Por favor.
All sorts of weird phenomena started to happen around the store, and Damien knew that something was there with him. From falling bread to collapsing trays, all of this would not have happened by sheer coincidence, and the spirit was making its presence known. This was a horrible experience for Damien and actually made him religious. Fortunate, neither him or the shop have seen or hosted any more activity since this date. The kitchen is a common place for paranormal activity, and I have absolutely no idea as to why. Seemingly every video that I publish on this channel has one or two instances that take place in the kitchen, and the one that you are about to see is no different. It took place in the home of Casos, a Spanish father of two who was enjoying his day off from work after lying about being sick. The bad karma got to him though, because this happened whilst he was supposed to be having a relaxed time.
Bueno, ahí para que vean después el video se lo voy a mostrar. Estoy colocando agüita para llevar un tecito, un termo. Vuelvo a cerrar. Tengo la taza. Esa es mi bebé. Esa pulguita es mi bebé, que se llama Canela. Y esperando. Para que vean esta piolita. Ya, ahí empezó. Ya. Voy a empezar a huevear. Estoy hueveando. Bueno. No es algo muy normal. La taza se movió. El gato. No es muy agradable la sensación que se vive acá. Ya, es hueveo, ya. Ya cabros, un ratito para afuera.
He started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from the kitchen, so he did what anybody would have done and investigated. He expected to see something such as a rodent or his cat causing chaos, but what Casos found was very disturbing. The mug moved itself on its own accord not once, but twice, indicating that it was haunted. Casos was extraordinarily lucky to have caught this on camera, because who knows who would have believed him otherwise. Donna Ayres is a woman who you will be very familiar with if you are a regular on this channel. She has been a victim of paranormal activity for an extended period of time now, and she has uploaded so much content about her spirit that she will probably be seen in haunter videos several years down the line. The thing that makes her spirit weird is that a lot of its behaviors match that of her ex-husbands, who passed away a few months before the hauntings began. This has led many theorists to believe that he is the one haunting her, but if this is the case, then he must have a serious vendetta against her based on what he does.
Guys, I just thought I'd put you back on. That coin seems to like me very much because it just won't stop. it seems to be making. It's just doing its own shit. And you've got to see this. It is freezing, by the way, on where I'm stood, and I can hear. You wouldn't believe me if I said, because you'll think I'm fucking losing the plot. I'm not. How is this possible? Guys, you've got to be seeing this. Who are you? What do you want? Are you restless? What do you want? Why won't you leave me alone? What is it you're trying to tell me? Guys, you're seeing this, aren't you? This is ridiculous. Guys, this is ridiculous. The fuck? This... Are you... No, shit. Sorry guys, but I'm just coming in here. That coin just flew at me, right at me. Something. I don't know if it's because I have a Ouija board now and I'm egging this spirit on, but it's getting very violent, very. I'm just going to upload this footage now, guys, because there's too much happening now.
In this clip, the poltergeist toys with a coin that Donna left on the table, and she is evidently scared by this. If the ghost was that of her husband, it likely would have stopped once he realized she was in fear, but going off the fact that it continued to mess with the coin, and even launched it towards her, I am starting to tilt away from that theory. Let me know what you think in the comments. Diego worked in the storage unit at his local institution, and it was a job he enjoyed very much due to how easy it was for the pay. All he needed to do was keep tabs on how much stock the company had, so that if anything went wrong, such as an item being stolen, he could notify the higher-ups to resolve the issue. While the job was incredibly easy though, every now and then Diego felt kind of bored, because it did not involve much, and the majority of the time, nothing went wrong. Occasionally, he would yearn for some sort of crazy event to happen mid-shift for some simple entertainment, and one day, his optimisms were gratified. Take a look.
Mochila. Y esta acá.
What seemed to be something along the lines of a bedsheet fell from the trolley, and Diego was completely and utterly baffled. He had no clue how he was supposed to react to such an incident, and actually ended up notifying his boss shortly after it happened. His boss claimed that it must have been caused by a source of wind, but there were no windows where this place was making this excuse, lame to put it in a light tone. This was definitely a ghost, and the only people who deny this are non-believers. When you think of the term ghost hunters, the chances are that you think of somebody whose job is to go out and seek ghosts. Whilst in most cases this would not be wrong, not all ghost hunters have this as a job, and many just do it as a hobby. The clip that you are next going to be exposed to was captured by one of those people who searched for spirits simply out of entertainment. His name is Ellis, and he decided to explore a haunted house when he caught this on camera.
Uy, no mames, ¿qué fue eso? ¿Hay alguien? ¿Qué fue eso, amigos? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? Uy, alguien corre, alguien corre, alguien corre. Alguien está corriendo. ¿Hay alguien aquí? Miren, aquí hay puertas, como que alguien quitó la puerta. ¿Hay alguien aquí? Uy, 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 se acaba de mover esto, amigos. Se acaba de mover esto. Y esto se movió. ¿En dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Queremos verte. Se acaba de mover esto. Uy, 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 uy. Uy, uy, uy. Uy, uy. Ahí está caminando, amigos. Ahí está caminando, ahí está caminando. Ahí está caminando. ¿Hay alguien? Uy, me caigo. ¿Hay alguien aquí? Si estás aquí, quiero que te manifiestes. Uy, ¿qué fue eso? ¿Qué es eso?
All sorts of clearly haunting things happened around the household, and there was no denying that a spirit was behind all of this. Despite doing this as a hobby for quite some time, Ellis was rather petrified this time around, and after ending the recording, left the scene completely. Camping in the woods can be a great experience or a horrible one, and it is rare that you manage to find anything in between. You could either have a blast with your friends and have zero sleep with maximum fun, or be stuck in the middle of a murder scene. And unfortunately, the latter was the case for the couple in our next video. They were having an innocent camping trip in the middle of the woods, then they suddenly heard some loud screaming noises that sounded way too close for comfort. This beckoned the woman to grab her phone and take this.
When the sun goes down.
Got a load of kids running around in here. Can you hear them all?
That's a big ass dog.
That's a girl crying. Can you hear that, guys? Hang on. Turn the lights off for a minute, people. Turn these lights off. Turn these lights off. Hang on a minute, guys. We've got to turn these lights off. Turn the lights off. Turn that light off.
Sinister portents.
Turn it off. Shh. Shh. Just sit down. It is a girl. It is kids, guys, but I did hear a girl, so can you just bear with us a minute? Because that bloke sounds a bit weird. Just bear with, yeah? Is he getting closer? Can we just turn all the lights off so he can't see us, please, because he sounds pretty weird. Where's he gone? Oh my God. can't even hear anything, and that's... What was that? I'm at Brian's, Sam. I'm near Brian's. See? I don't mind hunting ghosts, but it's the humans that worry me.
Same.
Human beings freak me out.
Give me a cryptid any day.
I just want to know that he's gone, really. Is that him? That sounds far away.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, okay, we're coming back. Give us a minute. Sorry, that was
Savage.
That was just you know what it is, it's Saturday night, so even if they're playing around or not, he did sound a bit, yeah, I don't really want him coming over to me, so
Eventually, after a long period of time, the screaming came to a complete halt, and the two of them took a few moments to gain the confidence to turn the lights back on. Whoever was behind this clearly had ill intent, and they were both fortunate to have come out safe. The scariest form of paranormal activity is a debatable topic, and I can see myself listening to arguments for all sorts of types. One form of hauntings that I just fail to see past, however, is apparitions, and this is because they tend to have a creepy and uncanny nature. The following video took place in a little girl's room and was actually filmed by the girl who had only recently been gifted a mobile device from her parents. It is truly horrific that a spirit had the heart to put her through this. For a split second, the apparition of an uncanny spirit appeared in her room and it looked terrifying. She sprinted downstairs and showed her mother after the recording ended, who was equally as freaked out by the clip, and rightfully so. Alex is a woman who has appeared on this channel before for having a haunted home that she managed to obtain some clips from. This video is adding to her haunter appearance tally and showcases another time that she managed to catch the spirit in the act on camera, except this time it happened all around the house. Alex seemed to have to trek around the entire building to see what was going on, and she got a lot on camera. Due to having a portfolio of evidence ready to show off to a ghost hunter, once she had enough to hire one, she added this video to it, and if she posts anything else, you will be the first to see it if you subscribe. No matter how strange you think this is, quite a lot of people enjoy the thrill of paranormal activity. Of course, we have ghost hunters who go and visit all sorts of ghostly places to banish ghosts for a fee. But what I am about to talk about are people who do it purely for passion rather than money, and I don't know how they are able to enjoy such activities. One man who goes to haunted locations for fun all of the time is called Rehan, and one day he visited what he claimed to be the most haunted house he had entered yet. Was he overhyping the location, or was it truly a portal to hell? Well, take a look and find out for yourself. At first, a lot of things fell over off camera, and you could audibly hear the thuds in which they made. Furthermore, there were upside-down crosses dotted all around the house, and it doesn't take a genius to know that it was a sign of a demonic presence in the household. Finally, some objects fell on camera at the end of the video, sending Rayhan rushing out in fear of his life, praying extra that night. Elias Samel is a man who has faced the paranormal more times than he can count, and if you're a regular on this channel, then you will certainly agree with that statement. It seems like he appears in all of our videos at the moment, and the truth is that I can't stop including his clips due to the sheer amount of them available to us. Recently, Elias decided to relocate and move house because of how bad his old one was becoming, and hoped that all of the horrors in his day-to-day life would leave for good, but unfortunately, this was not the case. The spirits followed him to his new home.
Andaba en un recorrido, pero escuché un ruido muy fuerte y vengo a ver y me encontré con esto. Esta silla no tiene por qué caerse. Vete de aquí, déjame en paz. No hay nadie, amigos. ¿Qué pasa? No entiendo. Pero... me tenía por qué haberse movido ni haberse caído. Sí, yo... No. No. ¿Por qué se movió? No. ¿Quién eres? Vete de aquí. Déjame en paz. Voy a salir un rato porque... no.
He initially began the recording because he heard a banging sound, so wanted to see what he could capture. Immediately after recording, everything stopped, but he continued to walk around the house and film in hopes that something would occur. It did. His chair glided across the floor as if somebody was pushing it, and it was very evident that nobody was, at least nobody visible. A spirit was behind this, and it had followed him to his new residence. The bar is a place full of drunken men, and after football games, they are usually on another level of full. People come in to catch up with their pals and talk about the game that just unfolded, so business booms in these places, just like the intake of drinks does. Drinking this much can cause drunkenness, and one man called Dave thought that this phenomenon of which he caught on his phone was just a product of his irresponsible drinking. But after getting home and watching back the footage, he realized that it actually happened. His glass of beer slowly slid across the table at the speed of a snail until coming to a complete halt in front of Dave's friend. Dave was very fortunate to have filmed this, otherwise he would have been stuck thinking it was some form of hallucination, but luckily now he knows that it was not. The following video took place in the bottom floor of a single mother's house, and I would not wish what happened onto my worst enemy, let alone a lone mother of two. The woman, Serena, was doing an activity as simple as watching television one night after putting both of her children to bed after another long, stressful day, and just wanted to relax. However, despite her keenness to sit back and chill for the night, a certain poltergeist was not so fond of the idea and caused absolute chaos. Have a watch. Serena started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from downstairs, and they managed to wake up her daughter, although her son slept through it. This angered her, so she went downstairs in hopes of finding the source of the noise, but instead of a source, she found more trouble. The chairs in the hidden room were going crazy, and both her and her daughter were very upset. They slept together that night with the mother not knowing what to do next, so leave some advice down below in the comments in case she comes across this video. Jaime Waters had known his situation regarding how haunted his house was for quite some time now, and it was just a matter of what he was going to do about it. At first, he thought the best idea would be to contact his local church or something to see what they could do for him, but then he realized that this was a good way to gain exposure on social media, so purchased some gear and started documenting his hauntings. One night at around 2 AM, his gear started lighting up an absurd amount, and he knew that this paranormal spike was much higher than usual, so began to film in case something happened, and to his fortune, it did, and it was on camera.
If that's the spirit, can you please do something? Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Help me.
After a few moments of waiting and asking the ghost to do its thing, the spike paid off, and all of the portraits fell from the wall in front of Jaime's eyes, and most importantly, his camera. He took this footage and uploaded it online, hoping to see some success, and surprisingly, it actually did. He got a decent amount of views and some recognition, so we'll definitely be keeping the spirit around for longer. Subscribe to see his videos if he continues. The case of Abiud is an ongoing case where a man called Abdul is constantly observing his house in fear that it is haunted by something called Abiud. Unnatural things happen inside of his household all the time, and it has gotten to the point where it is weird for normal things to happen, rather than weird for strange things too. Abdul has started randomly filming around the house nowadays in order to try and capture the spirit in raw and authentic moments, and the video that you are about to watch is a product of one of his checkups. Take a look.
Ya estoy terminando de así. Aquí lo que me llama la atención es que el humo permanece. Digo, bueno, en el teléfono no se aprecia muy bien que digamos, pero como que el humo de verdad toma una cierta forma extraña, no sé cómo explicarlo. De hecho, las cadenas ya empezaron a moverse otra vez. Todo bien acá. Pero sí se ve un poco curioso esto. Hola. Hola. ¿Ya te fuiste? ¿Ya te fuiste? Y empiezan a moverse. Hola, hola. ¿Ya te fuiste? De hecho empiezan a sonar las campanas aquí, como que algo truena, no logro distinguir qué es. Incluso las cadenas de ellas se están moviendo más. Las cadenas ya se están moviendo más fuerte y suena. Como que sí le está molestando el incienso, no sé qué onda. Pues si no te parece, entonces vete, no tengo problema. Ve. Ay, ok, esto no me lo esperaba, definitivamente esto no me lo esperaba.
First of all, the bells started clashing against each other, generating their ringing noise. But this was by no means caused by the wind. It was obvious that some kind of invisible force was acting on it though, and if it wasn't the wind, it was a spirit. This was further backed up by the swaying of the chains and the door closing on its own accord, basically confirming that this was a paranormal surge rather than a high wind altitude. Orissa is a semi-professional archer who has been in the business for a long time, training for a goal of becoming a full-fledged professional. In order to do this, she needs to rent out complete training studios to conduct her practices and get better every day. But little did she know when choosing her studio that it would be haunted. Watch this video.
I'm back with another creepy experience in my training studio. Earlier this year, I caught on camera a very creepy experience that happened to me whilst I was filming. But since then, nothing really weird has happened until tonight. So I'm trying to film an archery video in the room next door, but it's still the same studio. It's 9 PM, I'm training on my own, and I hear a man's voice as clear as day from behind this door.
Just heard a voice.
Is there someone here? Hello? I go to check the cameras in the front room to make sure that I'm the only person in this building. And then it sounds like a pen is dropping behind me down the corridor. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, Jesus. What the hell? I got the creeps. I'm gonna take it that my eyes are watering all of a sudden for no reason. Even though I am training on my own, was I really alone?
The pen dropping, followed by the footsteps, made it seem like somebody else was in the studio with her, but she was more than certain that this was not the case. The studio came in bookings, meaning that she was the only person legally allowed on the property, and after checking the cameras, it was evident that no one had broken in. Another haunting in this studio, to add to many. The Midwest ghost hunter, with the real name Ian, is one of the most famous YouTubers in the niche of documenting paranormal activity. For years now, he has been traveling up and down the Midwest, trying to gain as much evidence of a spiritual world as possible, and it is safe to say he has built a great career from it. The following clip comes from a video where he explored a haunted manor by himself on a solo mission, and it was definitely frightening, to put it lightly.
Is it okay that I'm in your room? Oh, whoa. I just saw like a light over here. It's like a glowing ball of light. It just floated by her mirror. Are you standing over by your mirror? I think I just seen you. I'm gonna try to take a bunch of pictures. Rebecca, are you here with me? I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but I keep seeing something in the mirror. You don't have to be shy, okay? Whoa, whoa, that was another anomaly. Oh my God, it was like in the mirror. Are you looking into your mirror right now, Rebecca? Oh my goodness, it is suddenly cold in here. I am getting chills all over my body. What was that? What was that? Oh my God, she freaking looked at me through the mirror. I just saw her face. Oh my God, am I going crazy? I literally just saw her face in the mirror. And it's gonna be impossible to see. I have to go down here.
Being tormented by a spirit is enough to cause mass fear, but seeing an apparition, even in a mirror, is horrifying. This apparition was of a woman called Rebecca, who was the wife of the family, and knowing he was being watched really unsettled Ian. Understandably so, to be fair. Funerals are when you manage to capture people at their lowest points, and this is because these events are very depressing. Losing a loved one is mentally scarring for everybody, and hence why nobody is in a good mood at these events, but at least the majority are not haunted. The only thing that is worse than a funeral is a haunted one, and the attendees of the funeral that this clip came from would agree with this. Have a watch. The white balloon started to drift towards the wife of the man who died, and she almost sensed that it was her husband doing this. While the majority of the people at the funeral were given the creeps by this incident, she held the balloon close, knowing that it was likely her husband of 20 years, saying his final goodbyes. This would be why she broke down into even more tears. The following video took place very early in the morning at a convenience store that had absolutely no business being haunted. It was a super irrelevant store, and no form of spiritual events had ever been recorded there, making it the last place a gambler would put their money on being haunted. However, despite the odds being low, they were not at zero, and one day, while 2 members of staff were preparing to open the store for the day, they experienced this.
Nos encontramos aquí en mi trabajo. Al fondo se observa una cámara de refrigeración donde parte de la tarde se han estado abriendo y cerrando solitas las puertas. Hay momentos que se calma, pero de repente empiezan otra vez a abrirse y cerrarse. Me voy a mover para allá para ver de cerca a ver si qué pasa. Nos vamos acercando a la cámara. Jorgito es uno de mis compañeros de aquí de trabajo. ¿Qué pasó, hijo? ¿Qué se cayó? Vean. Vean, ahí ya empezaron a abrir también. Vean, observen. Híjole. Vamos a tratar de no acercarnos, Jorgito, porque... Vean cómo se están abriendo las puertas. Vamos a ver de aquel lado. Ahí se ve cómo se están abriendo y cerrando. Toda la tarde estaba pasando esto, e inclusive ya hay gente que se dio cuenta, clientes. Y híjole, la verdad sí es un poco temeroso. Ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que, vean, ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que viniera a ver esto que está pasando. No me cree, pero digo, quedó de venir, hasta ahorita no ha venido. Y no nos hemos atrevido a ir a la parte de atrás en la cámara porque pues nos da un poco de temor, ¿no? Porque pues esto es algo sobrenatural. Pero vamos, Jorgito, allá atrás a ver qué pasa. Vean. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Vamos a arriesgarnos a ir. Vamos a arriesgarnos porque a ver qué pasa. Esta es la parte de la entrada de la cámara. Vamos a ver qué pasa. O sea, ahora sí que... Dijo, no sé si oyeron. Jorgito, ve a ver, hijo. ¿Sí? Veamos qué pasa.
Strangely, the refrigerator doors continued to open and close themselves whilst they were being filmed, and it was almost as if they had a mind of their own. The 2 members of staff were freaked out by this for obvious reasons, and immediately alerted their manager over text message. Unfortunately, their manager did not take this quote, excuse, and demanded that they continue working for the day or they would be fired from the job. Was the boss in the wrong? Let me know in the comments. Alonzo was a well-known ghost hunter within his community, and almost everybody came to him when they had a problem regarding the spiritual world. With his strong portfolio and muscular build, nobody could say no to him and his services. But one day, a mission got a little bit too difficult for his liking. It took place on a Sunday, and he was being paid extremely high money to work this day. It was immediately after entering the supposedly haunted vicinity that he caught this phenomenon on camera.
Vitoriano, saludos.
Carolina. ¡Ay, no madre! ¡Uy, qué fue eso! Perdón, amigos, grité como mujer. Grité como mujer. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. Grité como mujer, amigos. Buenas noches. ¿Quién eres? ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. ¿Qué fue eso? Uy, 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 uy. No mames, no hay nadie. ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien? No hay nadie aquí. Se me desenfocó.
It was very clear that some sort of spirit was behind the door, and anybody in their right minds would agree with me on that statement. This was the first telltale sign that what Alonso was dealing with was in fact a real threat, and he should approach the rest of the task with caution. Subscribe to the channel, as this was only one clip from a long mission made by Alonso, and his story will be further developed in our next video. Similar to another clip in this video, our next video was captured by somebody working in a store, except this time it was the manager who experienced the event. The time was 10 at night, and he had come to the store to make sure that the cleaning staff had done their job on his weekly checkup that came on a random day to attempt to catch them out if they were slacking. The cleaners did a decent job, but there were some critiques that the manager managed to pick out, and he was about to call his staff members and explain it to them. Little did he know that he was not going to be able to do that.
Ya. ¿Qué hora es? Van a ser 10 para las 2. Y algo me tiene intrigado. Iremos a grabar. Carrito me estaba molestando harto rato y de verdad que no sé si es verdad lo que me dicen de acá. No sé qué onda. Vamos a hacérnoslo. Hay algo sí que me molesta. Conchetumare. Oh, bacán.
At the very end of the clip, the shopping cart moved on its own accord, which was disturbing to say the least. It was obvious that no visible force was acting upon the shopping cart, so whatever caused this must have not been visible to the human eye, leading me to believe it was an external entity, also known as a spirit. The following incident took place on an ordinary Tuesday evening in a small apartment building that had no reputation for being haunted. It was the kind of place where nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. No spooky rumors, no strange noises in the middle of the night, and certainly no tales of ghostly apparitions. In short, it was the last place anyone would expect something supernatural to occur. But as the old saying goes, never say never. Zach, a laid-back guy who preferred to unwind in his room after a long day, was minding his business when all of a sudden this happened.
Oh, fucking hella trash. But that's no reason for fucking shit to. That's no reason for to occur. You fucking douchebag. You fucking ass. Bro, chill. Easily explainable. Maybe I knocked down your shit. There was a whole situation where I moved. Where I moved your fucking.
Suddenly, a few items fell from the kitchen counter right in front of his very eyes. Startled, Zach sat up straight. He turned his head towards the items cautiously and knew that something was up. It was obvious that no items were acting upon the countered property. A purple snap is a feature on Snapchat that refers to a user sending a video to one of their friends. These are very useful for sending short and quirky videos to people in search of a quick laugh or an awe, and this is all Roger wanted to do. He was home alone and texting a girl, so he thought that it would be a good idea for him to start filming his dogs doing tricks before giving them each a treat to spark some more conversation. Now, on a surface level, there was absolutely nothing wrong with this idea, and nothing could have gone wrong. But of course, you're watching a haunter video, so something terrible must have happened. Take a look for yourself.
Sit. The girls. Pow! Pow! Whatever. Let me get you a treat. Alright, wait. There it is. There you go. That was weird. Okay.
The drawer took it upon itself to open whilst Roger was in the room, and this sent him into a state of utter and complete shock. He quickly saved the snap to his camera roll and planned to upload it to YouTube, which is how I actually managed to get my hands on it. It is an unexplainable clip, and I cannot think of any way in which he could have made it up, but of course feel free to prove me wrong in the comments section. After uploading the footage to YouTube, Roger expected nothing more than a few likes and a bit of advice, but when little to nothing came from it, and nobody helped him out, he lost all sense of hope. Fortunately, the spirit had not made a second appearance, and it seemed to be a one-time instance. But just as this thought came to his head, this clip was taken. Afterwards, Roger decided that he was not going to tolerate this poltergeist for any longer and dialed a friend of a friend who happened to be a ghost hunter. They are currently in the process of cleansing the house of all demons, and we can only hope that Roger is okay soon. Leaving your house and becoming independent can be a difficult time for everybody, and it is pretty obvious as to why. The change from having your parents do everything for you to becoming completely self-reliant is super overwhelming, and this was the case for the young Russian man in our next video. He had only recently moved out into his own home and was rather confident about the switch of lifestyle. Perhaps he should have been more cautious though, because what actually went down whilst he was alone was not nice at all. Just 3 days in, this was recorded. All around his new home, things started to happen, and I bet he wished he had his mother's shoulder to cry on. He actually called his parents and asked to move back in to recover from this stressful experience, to which they fortunately took him in. I mean, fortunately. Louise was home alone one night waiting for her husband, Michael, to come home from work. She was getting rather frustrated because he had got stuck in a traffic jam, and she hated sleeping when she was the only one in the house due to some past experiences with break-ins, so she was forced to stay awake. When it got to roughly 10 p.m., she called her husband again to see if there was any progress in advancing through the traffic, but to her dismay, there was none. This is when Louise decided to record a short video explaining the situation to her friends to gain comfort from them, but roughly halfway through this happened.
Don't like it. I'm damn fucking wake up. I hate it. Fucking bollocks. Fucking bollocks.
For some reason, the bottle of alcohol had a mind of its own and decided to start shaking on the table. Despite being scared, at first Louise was not frightened enough to flee the scene, but immediately after the bottle collapsed, she was certain that some form of entity was messing with it. She fled the house and visited her mother before sending the clip to Michael. He posted it online. Most people tend to be fearful and cowardly when it comes to encountering a spirit, but the man in the following video was the complete opposite and took absolute control of the situation. He was relaxing in his living room one day, as calm as he could be, and had just finished eating dinner when suddenly he noticed something. An item on the table beside him had supposedly moved on its own accord. Instead of being a coward and running away from the scene though, he filmed this.
Do it again. Move it again. Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Holy shit. Fucking camera too. Move it again. Keep it fucking quiet. Out.
As I said, this man was not a coward and took the complete amount of control in this scenario. He asked the ghost in a commanding voice to do it again several times, and to his fortune, the spirit listened. It goes to show that the way you carry both yourself and your voice makes a huge difference on how you are treated, even when it comes to ghosts. In the following video, Kyle, a student fresh into university and new to the living alone lifestyle, was relaxing in his flat when he started to hear some screams. When I say a scream, I mean the loudest and most excruciating scream you can imagine, and it terrified him. At first it sounded like the sound was coming from the outside out of concern. Kyle went to the window, and if he saw anything suspicious, he was going to call the police. Little did he know that he was about to find out that the noises were coming from within his own four walls.
Yo, I swear to God, there was like some... What the f is that? What the f is that? You gotta be kidding me! Who goes there? Who goes there? That shit cannot be real. What the f? You gotta be kidding me. What the f was that? You gotta be f kidding me. Oh, you gotta be messing with me. I swear to God, this gotta be a joke. Whoever's in here, I command you to leave in the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to leave now. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I got adrenaline going right through my body. What the f is that? Ah, shit! Shit! What the f? Who goes there? You gotta be kidding me. Wasn't this shit close? Oh, oh shit. What the f is that? Guys, you gotta be kidding me. Oh shit. What's the fucking thing? Oh, I'm getting a headache badly. I'm getting a fucking headache badly. Oh,
There is absolutely no word out there that would accurately describe how confused Kyle was by this event, because no matter where he looked in his house, the screaming girl could not be found. When he went into a certain room, it sounded as if she was right next to him, but of course, this was not the case. Around 10 minutes after the screaming stopped, the police arrived at Kyle's apartment and conducted a full search because all of his neighbors had reported it in fear that Kyle was harming people. But after showing them the video, they believed that he was innocent. But this was not the end. Kyle went about a week with nothing happening inside of his home, and he was starting to believe that the event was just a one-time phenomenon that he would be able to forget about and move on from. This was nothing but a wish though, because after this peaceful week, the poltergeist made another appearance.
What the f? Oh, f. What the f? What the f? Alexa! Stop the music! Alexa, stop! What the f? In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house right now. What the f? Who goes there? Somebody's in there, you better come out right now. I got a knife on me right now. Come out right now. Ah! In the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to come out. Who's in here? Who's in here right now? You better come out.
This time, some demented laughter was used to lure Kyle into the screaming, and the neighbors were once again concerned. This time, the police gathered all sorts of evidence to try and prove that Kyle had done something evil to a woman that night. But no matter how much they scrounged the building, nothing was found. It is reassuring knowing that the forces cared this much, and equally as good that Kyle was not falsely prosecuted. On November the 30th of 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, everybody was home alone, doing their own thing. The majority of people were completing their work from laptops or rotting away on their gaming consoles, but not Austin. In fact, he was rather bored. He was retired, so he had no job, and he knew about as much when it came to technology as you know about the engine of a Fiat 500. My point being nothing. However, he knew how to record, and that skill came in handy when something mysterious started happening inside of his house. The cupboard opened and closed continuously, and using his brain power, Austin knew to record the cupboard to make it evident that nothing was making this happen. He did a good job at this, and you would be a fool to claim that a visible force was acting upon this object, so that leaves one solution that you all know. This was a paranormal encounter. Austin sent the video to his family group chat, and it was posted to social media by one of his relatives. We have no updates, so all we can do is hope that Austin is okay. One thing that comes with social media is trends, and these things can go from harmless dances such as the Renegade to deadly and manipulative games like Blue Whale. Well, what if I told you that there was a small-scale trend on the internet called The Sky is Blue, and here is how it goes. It is a paranormal game where the person playing is supposed to recite the words to a poem and then pan the camera into a doorway. It was supposed that after panning into the doorway, you would see a face, whether it be clear or a faint image. And one day, a woman wanted to test that. This is how that went.
The sky is blue, and I see you. 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 The sky is blue, and I see you.
It took several attempts, and we have to admire how courageous she was for doing this. Her persistence must also be mentioned, because despite failing several times, she kept reciting the final lines of the poem. At the final doorway, something fell from the roof, and this not only frightened, but confused the woman. The trend was supposed to reveal a face, and not just a paranormal event, so it made no sense as to why the real thing didn't happen. But I guess life has many mysteries, and this is just one of them. Mark and Sarah both lived in a small house together and were finally in the stage of life that they wanted to be in. Sarah was pregnant with their first child. Mark had proposed to her, and they were both earning incomes, which made them more than stable when combined. It was the life they had both dreamed of having together, until they realized their rented house was likely haunted. Day in and day out, they would hear mysterious noises, and whenever they went to investigate, something would be different in the room, such as a misplaced ornament. Well, this time, something different happened when Mark went to investigate, and he was lucky enough to catch it on his camera.
I heard the noise again from back here. I heard the noise again from back here. Holy shit.
What? What is it?
Sarah, come look at this.
What?
Look at this. Look at the
The kitchen drawer slowly opened, and it was clear that nothing made this happen. Mark called Sarah to let her know what had happened, and she was really freaked out with the fact that something actually moved in front of his very own eyes. They needed to get out of this place, and it needed to be soon. Now, you've all heard of the term baby steps, right? It's when you take something one small step at a time, and after a long period, the progress will have gone far. However, have you heard of the term ladder steps? No, because it doesn't exist. That would be a silly saying, because ladders aren't able to walk as they're not human, right? Well, this roadside construction worker proved this statement incorrect when his ladder made a run for it. It may have walked away at the speed of a snail, but a walking ladder is insane nonetheless. The worker who captured this uses it as a claim to fame and tells the story to every new ally that he comes across. It is safe to say that he was relieved rather than terrified by the incident. For the final clip, we are delving back into the ghost hunts of the star of the show on this channel, Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter. Ian has been hunting spirits for several years now, and calling him a professional in this field would be an understatement. The following video took place in a haunted manor local to his house that he thought he might as well visit for some content. His expectations of the manor were low, but due to it being such a nearby location, there would be no loss in visiting. It turned out to be the right decision, considering his goal was to be haunted.
Come towards you, okay? Whoa. I'm hearing like tapping sounds on the wall. Is that you, Susie? She literally just tapped on one of these coloring pages. It was like this. It was one of those. Susie, I heard you really like coloring. Is that true? If so, could you move one of these coloring pages? I see you got a whole coloring book here too. Is this your favorite color book? Oh my god! Oh my god! She just flipped the page! What the what did I just witness? She literally just flipped the page on that color book. I cannot believe what I just seen. I cannot believe that. Susie, did you just flip this page? Are these your favorite? Your favorite pages? I have got goosebumps on my goosebumps. Could you flip to another page? I'd like to see what else is in here.
It was clear that Susie's favorite coloring book was in fact that one, and she moved it in order to convey this. Now, unlike most spirits that have the intention of causing torment and suffering, for some reason, Susie seemed to just want company and taught Ian things about herself. This was on the least scary side of his encounters for certain. Malls or shopping centers are locations that tend to be darling with life and joy, but trust me, there is nothing more eerie than a closed one late at night. If you ask any mall security guard to describe their job in 3 words, the word creepy will more than likely be one of them, and the video that I am going to showcase is part of this reason. The time was 2 a.m. and a security officer was patrolling around the local shopping center, specifically a clothing store. To his fortune, there were no intruders, but there were certainly some suspicions. Have a watch.
Ni apagaron las luces. No sé. No hay nada, literalmente ni nadie. Aquí en la tienda, ni en esta plaza, ni nada. Pero hay algo que me llama mucho la atención dentro de este lugar. Desde hace un rato ya he estado viendo cómo se mueve una prenda en específico. No sé si puedan verla. Qué pedo. No mames. Literal no hay nadie. Estoy aquí solo. Y vean cómo se mueve. Oh, no mames. Qué pedo. No mames. No mames, se apagaron todo. Y esta madre se sigue moviendo. Oh, no te pases de lanza. Ya me alejé, pero vean cómo se sigue moviendo esto.
For some mysterious reason, one of the t-shirts started waving without any sort of human interaction, and it was clear that no visible force was acting upon it. Furthermore, as if the incident wasn't already frightening enough, the lights turned off, and they were not scheduled to do so at all on that night. The security guard contacted the team and asked them if they did this, to which they stated that they did not. The following video took place in the room of Elias Samael, and he was enjoying a nice and leisurely Sunday when all of a sudden a spirit decided to ruin it. Elias was watching the new episode of his favorite show on his mobile device and had been waiting months for it to release, and when it did, he watched it without any delay. He was ready to binge a minimum of 5 episodes, but to his dismay, a certain poltergeist had other ideas.
Amigos, tengo rato que escuché que me tocaron la puerta, pero yo pensé que era el señor que me renta. Pero no hay nadie, estoy solo y estoy viendo una película, pero algo como que me están tocando otra vez. No sé quién sea, tengo miedo de ir, pero no se ve nadie. tipo de cosas. La verdad sí tengo miedo de todo esto que está pasando ahorita porque no sé cómo hacerle. ¿Qué hacer? Algo raro. No sé qué está pasando realmente. Esto no tenía por qué haberse movido. ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres? Vete de aquí. Déjame en paz.
Now, if you could not tell, this was not Elias's first encounter with the paranormal world, and it would not be far-fetched to actually call him a regular victim. You can tell from the Ouija board alone that he has experimented with the world of ghosts previously, not to mention that his content has appeared on this channel in other episodes. In this specific video, some mysterious sounds were being broadcasted behind the door, and they were followed by the collapse of several cups within the room. It was blatantly obvious that the cause of these events were a spirit, and unfortunately, there was nothing that Elias could do about it. Suggest some ideas for him down below in the comments. Omar was a strong believer in Jesus Christ and Christianity as a whole, so it came as no surprise when he turned to the religion immediately after encountering spirits. The event happened on February the 5th of 2025, and Omar was doing an activity as simple as lying in bed. Suddenly, he heard something scraping against the ground, and the name of his dead grandfather was whispered down his ear, but the only evidence that he had of this was his own word. It was because of this that he quickly forged a cross to protect him, in case something else randomly happened, and soon enough, it did.
Plebes, son las 3 de la mañana, plebes. Escuché el ruido, plebes. ¿Hay alguien en la pura puerta de mi cuarto, plebes? No sé quién demonios sea, pero me está dando mucho miedo, plebes. Marqué, quise marcar a mi familia. El teléfono me sonaba como si no estuviera en línea. Espíritu Padre que estás en el cielo. Plebe. No mames, plebe. Se está meneando mi calentadora, plebe. No.
The radiator crawled across the floor towards Omar, and he was extremely lucky to have captured such a phenomenon on camera. The only downside to this video was the fact that the cross in which Omar was holding failed to frighten the spirit into leaving him alone, meaning that whatever he was facing must have been a fairly powerful demon, or perhaps just his grandfather, considering the whisper. Abdul has had several features on this channel before, and it is more than obvious at this point that whatever is haunting him is here to stay. It all started several weeks ago when he began to hear some odd noises from downstairs during the night, but ever since that moment, things have just continuously gotten far worse. Nowadays, he does random checkup videos, where he will take his phone out and film the entirety of his house in case something happens, and he has gained a heap of videos from this routine. The video that you are moments away from seeing is one of them. Take a look.
Se han estado escuchando ruidos en toda la casa y de alguna forma no sé si esté tratando de decirme algo de una forma más directa. se escucha más aquí en la sala, y en la recámara he tratado de dejar harina también en la sala, en las sillas, en todos lados, porque ha habido más movimiento. Pero las campanas ya... ¡Ay, cabrón! Esto también es lo que quería decir, o sea, Cookie ha estado cambiando de posición en toda la recámara y... pues no sé a qué se deba. Solo ocurre en la recámara. Esto también ha estado sucediendo. Incluso dejé un poco de harina en lo que es el asiento, pero no lo voy a distinguir mucho. Voy a tratar de leer esta misma hoja con más calma en otro momento. Y bueno, los murmullos, chinga, me cerraron la ventana, pero aquí se escuchan los murmullos y a ver, no pienso abrir la puerta en esta ocasión. Definitivamente no.
All around the house, weird stuff were happening, and in the life of Abdul, this was probably something that he would consider to be on the more light side of things. Usually, his spirit would launch items from across the room in his direction, but this time around, the worst that things got was the turning of a chair. Still scary for the average viewer, nonetheless though. Steve and his beloved wife were a happy couple for many years, and at one point it seemed as if no one or nothing would be able to pull them apart. No matter how many embarrassing things they did, or how many mistakes one of them made, they would always apologize and make up with each other, which was honestly really wholesome to see. However, there is one type of creature that holds the power to ruin things as powerful as love, and this is a poltergeist. Steve started to continuously hear knocking from doors all around the house when his wife was not in, and she thought that he was becoming a psychopath. It was because of this that she left the house and put it on Steve to fend for himself, who had a new ambition to prove the existence of something in the house. After putting motion sensors in the basement, he waited, and eventually he was rewarded.
It's like 11 p.m. I just got out of the shower, about ready to go to bed, and this keeps going off. That's the motion detector in the crawl space. I am scared to death to watch the footage from the camera down there, but we gotta do it. I've been putting this off all day, but it's about to get dark soon, so we need to go down there. This is the last thing that I want to do, but I don't really have a choice. Okay, right over there is where I saw the thing. What was that?
This was a highly disturbing video, and after the footage was checked, Steve regretted his decision of taking action deeply. He would have rather not known that there was a literal demon hiding in his basement, and continued to hear knocking despite it slowly driving him insane. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and a time that many choose to refer to as the witching hour. The man recording the video was working alone in the small, dimly lit room. The stillness of the night surrounded him, and the soft glow of his screen illuminated the space. He had been working all night, getting lost in his boring task of guarding the facility, when suddenly the silence was abruptly broken. He heard running footsteps from somewhere down the hall, and presumably nearby to the stairs. His eyes darted toward the sound. It was odd. No one else was supposed to be in the building. Eager to find the source of the footsteps, he approached them and investigated. Surprisingly, though he found nothing, the footsteps stopped, leaving only the sound of his breathing. He shook his head, chalking it up to the late hour, but then something else. A soft moan echoed from down the hall. It was low, almost inhuman, and it sent a chill crawling up his spine. He froze, listening intently, waiting for something more, but everything went quiet again before the lights turned off. The man who captured both of these upcoming clips had the birth name of Ian, but his alias was the Midwest Ghost Hunter. This is because he traveled all the land of the Midwest in order to expose the true nature of paranormal activity, and this involved visiting a lot of well-known haunted landmarks. The place that Ian decided to explore in the video that you are about to be exposed to was a haunted manor of which the lore goes way too deep to explain. You don't need lore to understand that this place was beyond haunted though, and if you do not believe me, then take a look for yourself.
Got a K2 meter here. I'm gonna see if I can get any responses from Captain Jacob Colors' ghost. Captain Colors, are you here with me tonight? You were the owner of this building back when it was a hotel. They say that your spirit is still here. Is there any truth to that? If so, could you touch the green light? Is it okay that I'm here? Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God, that was a deep thump in this wall here. Is that a yes? Or is it a no? Ooh, that was weird. I don't know what to think of that. Definitely surprised me though. That was a loud thump. Thump in this wall. Oh God.
Whilst Ian was interrogating the framed image on the wall, looking for answers as to whether he still haunted the building, a large thump was heard from the wall behind it. This coincidentally came after he inquired for an answer, which led him to believe that this was the spirit's way of implying the answer, yes. This was backed up by a sighting just shortly after.
Are there any former residents still living here? Hello? Oh my God, oh my God. There was somebody over there. Holy shit. I literally just saw a figure peek out of that room over there. It peeked out and it was looking right at me. Holy shit. Who are you? I just seen you. Could you peek out again? Okay, there's definitely somebody in there, which means I have to go check it out. Ooh, yay. Who's in?
Ian saw the figure of what was presumably a poltergeist peek around the corner of a hallway at him, and he was very taken aback by this, because if you know one thing about the paranormal, it should be that apparitions are extraordinarily rare. This was followed up by some mysterious noises that further confirmed the presence of an entity to Ian. The following video was captured by Elias Samael, a man of whom has known his situation regarding spirits for a prolonged period of time. It all started a few weeks ago when he noticed some suspicious things happening in his room, and ever since then, it has progressively worsened. The best that Elias could do to counter these hauntings was order a Ouija board and give it a try a couple of times, but unfortunately he failed, and the spirit continued to strike like it did in this short clip. Have a watch.
Amigo, amigos, sigo escuchando ruido. No sé qué, hasta cuándo va a terminar esto. ¿Qué? Se oye como que un niño llora. Esto no tenía por qué haberse movido. Por favor, ya que termine esto ya. No sé cómo hacer para cerrar esto. No sé qué pasa.
Elias, clearly in fear and panic, had no idea what to do when he saw the figure fly into the air and simply continued to stand there and film the instance, entering freeze mode rather than fight or flight. Moments later, he heard some inexplicable sounds coming from the other side of his door, and out of complete last resort conclusions, stopped the recording, hoping that this would incentivize the attention-seeking poltergeist to give it a break. Sadie was living a difficult life at home and pinned it down to the fact that her house was haunted. It took her a very long period of time to come to this bold conclusion, and when she did, she made her decision almost immediately. She would be moving house and relocating to a completely different city. Due to the distance between the cities, though, she had to stay elsewhere whilst her belongings were transported to the new house, and so she got in touch with an old friend and her husband. With open arms, they allowed Sadie into their home and made her feel welcome, allowing her to stay for a week free of charge, providing she brought her own food. I doubt they would have been so generous if they had known that Sadie's spirit had followed her to this new location.
Son las... no sé si se alcance a ver, las 3 de la mañana con 1 minuto, y mi hermana me acaba de levantar porque dice que se escuchan ruidos en el cuarto. Mi esposo y mi niña están dormidos y vamos a ir a ver qué se escucha en el cuarto. No hay nadie, solamente estamos mi hermana, mi hija, mi esposo y yo. Aquí en este cuarto está solo porque en estos últimos días nadie ha podido dormir aquí. Como podrán ver, el cuarto está totalmente solo y pues nadie duerme aquí, solo estamos nosotros. Mi hermana dice que se escuchan cosas, pero... ay, me asusté. Pero no sé, pues no se oye nada. No se oye... amor, amor, levántate. Levántate porque allá le pegaron a la puerta. No sé qué pasó. Vinimos Sara y yo. Se escuchó la puerta. Se escuchó la puerta. Mira, acabamos de venir y no estaba así. Todos los cajones están abiertos. Oh, Dios. Pero...
¿el cuarto? ¿Se movió en el cuarto?
esa. La niña está dormida. Estamos solos. No sabemos qué fue lo que pudo haber pasado. Mi esposo anda viendo. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué es, amor?
Se movió la puerta, no sé qué va a estar.
No hay nada. No hay nada en el baño.
From mysterious banging noises to cupboards that should not have opening, it was clear that something paranormal was going on here, and considering Sadie's history, the family hosting her were quick to point fingers. They instantly changed their minds about letting Sadie have a free stay, and charged a ridiculous rent, which she reluctantly had to accept because she had nowhere else to go. You bet that the hauntings continued, and they became even worse than the first. This time around, the time was 3 a.m., and all 3 of the residents were awoken by mysterious noises and banging on the door. Eager to gather some more evidence of the whole saga, Sadie began to film and caught this.
Seguimos grabando porque no dejan de escucharse los ruidos. Son las 3:19 de la mañana. No dejan de escucharse las cosas. ¿Abre la puerta?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? A ver, abren la puerta.
Cuidado, cuidado.
Yo primero.
Se escucha bien claro, pero no hay nadie. No hay nadie afuera de la casa.
Sale para enfrente. Mira.
Solamente se escuchan todos. La gente ahorita a estas horas está dormida. No sabemos qué sea. Ya tenemos días sintiendo cosas extrañas. Últimamente se siente una vibra medio extraña. No sabemos qué sea. ¡Ay, Dios! ¿Viste la mona en la cabeza? La cabeza de la mona.
Es por los nervios, mi amor, es por los nervios.
Estamos solos. No sabemos qué hacer.
Me está dando el Parkinson.
Unsurprisingly, there was nobody behind the door, and it was evident that there was nowhere that the culprit would have been able to hide had it been a human. Furthermore, the doll/toy also managed to move on its own accord, which would have put the people present into a state of fear for many different reasons. To the surprise of everybody, though, they really liked the easy income that they were making from the overpriced rent, though, and still allowed Sadie to stay. But what happened 2 days later pushed them over the line.
Seguimos aquí en la grabación. Mi esposo fumando, que no falta el vicio. Mi hermana aquí casi llorando. ¡La puerta!
¿Quién anda ahí?
Vean, es que no hay nadie. No es nadie. Todo se ve absolutamente solo. No hay absolutamente... ¡Ay, esperen! ¡Ay, güey! Las cielas.
Aquí están todas paniqueadas, todas asustadas.
Los perros
vamos a ver para allá adentro qué se mira, qué se ve.
Los perros así toda... Los perros así toda la noche. Toda la noche. Desde las 3 de la mañana hasta como las 4:30. Así están. Ciérrale, hija, por favor. La mona no la quisimos ya ni tocar. Vean.
Dígame, tengo miedo.
Vamos a ver allá. Pero no hay nada. Amor,
¿qué pasó?
¿Escuchaste?
Sí.
¿Estás bien, hija? ¡Ay, güey!
No manches,
Ve, ya córtale. Ay, no.
Se acaba de terminar, se cayó el aire.
No. Ya vamos a acostarnos.
Ya.
Ya, mañana será otro día. Vamos a descansar.
In this final clip of the saga, a lot of strange things happened, so I am going to cover the majority of them. First of all, the sound of the door knocking happened again, which caused the trio to group together in the sitting room before the man of the house opened the doors to investigate. Nervously, the women followed, but right behind them, the door was slammed without any logical and probable cause. In a rush, they all made their way back indoors because the situation had frightened them, to put it at a bare minimum, but everything carried on indoors. Falling objects were all over the joint, and it was safe to say there was no escape. Sadie was kicked out of the house and left to fend for herself once again. This next video was a product of Emax, who is a well-known ghost hunter who uses the very platform that you are using, YouTube, to document his ghostly findings. His main gimmick is exploring abandoned places which have any sort of ties that could lead to it being a place of paranormal activity, and he often finds some pretty good locations. In recent times, he explored an abandoned hospital deep in Taiwan, known for its random surges in spiritual activity, and he had a good time when it came to gathering content during his stay. However, he did not feel like he managed to capture the full scale of how haunted this place truly was, and so decided to give it a second visit, and actually found more than he thought he was going to. Take a look. Surprisingly, there was a bang that came from deeper into the hospital, and this left Emax in a state of horror for quite some time, not being able to act upon it, other than slowly turning around to see if anything was with him. It was when he followed the direction of the sound that a door ahead of him creaked its way open, and Emax was given a real fright. This next clip requires a very attentive approach in order to truly understand what happened, and I would like to present it as a bit of a challenge. If you can spot what happened in this short, 50-second clip that showcased a paranormal presence, then comment down below and show everybody that you have some eagle eyes. It took place in the house of Kiki, who had 2 loving children at her disposal. They all slept in the same room, because she was a very paranoid mother when it came to things like the kids being at risk alone at night, and one day, they were. All sorts of odd sounds were echoing around the bedroom, and momentarily later, Kiki decided to film the situation, and then this happened. Remember to comment if you notice.
Ventana es la puerta del cuarto, la que están tocando, no mames. Hay alguien afuera de la puerta del cuarto, güey, pero no es un puto humano. Ay, no. Voy a sentar aquí porque ya se recorrieron mis hijos. Entonces,
no te quitaste aquí.
¿sí ven en dónde están mis hijos? Carajo.
Did you comment your answer? Well, if you paid close attention to the door in the background, you would notice that it was consistently changing its state from open to closed whenever it left the frame and rejoined it. This was very spooky, and upon realizing, Kiki made it her mission to find an exorcist.